Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation! Good evening and welcome back to Computerized Start Live. I'm your host, Justin D. Morgan, and I'm early for once. But yet, I'm still just in time. Oh no. Hardware Hacker says, my regret for today is I cracked a tooth this afternoon and couldn't get a dentist appointment until tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Oh. That's awful. Well, I hope we're able to fix the tooth or do something about it. And, alright. Let's, see who else is in the chat. We have Thomas Armstrong. Hi, Thomas. We have Francois. Hi, Francois. Yes, hi, Hardware Hacker. We have SadMac356. Hi, SadMac. And, yes. Oh, it's a molar. Ooh, I cracked my molar about 18 months ago. Or might have been a little longer than that. Bone-in sausage. Although, I guess they don't guarantee that the sausage has no bones in it, but yeah, that was unpleasant, so. Yeah, hopefully they can sort something out tomorrow, at least, yeah, Hardware Hacker says that would do it. So, yep. Alright, let's see here. We do have the goal of lumber for a workbench, so link is in the description. And you might think that we would be starting with Wheel of Regrets tonight, but no. I finally drug a box downstairs. We are going to start with the things I've bought from you all. Oh well, I guess maybe technically not bought in this case. But anyways, Big Steve on the Macintosh Friends Discord listed a bunch of stuff. Was like, if anyone would like any of this stuff, you can have it for the cost of shipping and packaging. So, Sadmac says, I would have assumed sausage was boneless, but that's a nightmare for me for a number of reasons. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I guess I was too trusting in how well they'd got the bones out of the sausage. And, sausage quality control kind of plummeted after 2020, if you ask me. Anyways, I definitely tread more gingerly when I'm eating sausage these days. So anyways, there were a few things on the list that I said I was interested in, so a reasonable number of dollars later. Oh, thank you, Hardware Hacker! Roll that famous green bar towards the goal. Oh, thank you. Yes. So anyways, without further ado, let's see what I got, because I've kind of somewhat forgotten. Oh, and I do need to be careful. Some of these boxes have address labels on them, and some do not. Alright. So that box does not have an address label on it. Alright, so I'm going to pull everything out of the box so we can process it later. Let's see, I think that goes with the box I just removed. These are not in boxes. And then I've got a box here that I don't know what's in it. And I just gave you a lovely view of the ceiling. I'll fix that momentarily. Alright. Yes. there you go. Now you know what my basement ceiling looks like. All right, so we will start with this box here that I will need to open carefully. And it is, oh, that's right. It is a, oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, I remember what I asked for on the list now. I think these are going to be the mounting. Yes, it was a copper heatsink. Had said Max says QC for a lot of things plummeted after around them, to be honest. Yeah. So, first of all, we got a copper heatsink. Wow, look at that cool heatsink. I don't know what it goes to. Maybe the instructions will say it's a XP90C K8 installation. Okay, so this is probably going to be socket 939 and socket 478. Does that make sense? Huh. Okay, it goes to something. Hardware Hacker says, and it was a sausage, egg, and cheese from McDonald's that did it. Oof. Oh, Hardware Hacker says, yikes, that would do it, and that's what happened to me. It was a McDonald's sausage, egg, and cheese. Oof. Yeah, 478 and K8. So it's got adapter plates. I'll have to figure out what it means by K8. It's most certainly some AMD socket and socket 478. Hi, a tech podcast. Welcome. So, so that's item number one. And it's quite heavy. This is almost, well, it may not be the heaviest item that was in the box, but it definitely contributed to the 11 pounds that the box was in total. So, all right, a cool heatsink. I don't know what I'll use it for, but the list had been up a couple days. No one had asked for it. I asked for it. All right, moving along. I think the second item I removed was an anti-static bag. Oh, Hardware Hacker says, but enough about me. Always glad to see your new stuff. Yes, now this is maybe a bit newer than I would normally dabble with. But I do sometimes have projects where I need slightly newer things. So I have two PCI Express video cards. I will have to go look at the description to remember what condition they're in, because they may not both be. I seemingly remember one of them may have some sort of a defect, or maybe it's the motherboard. Let's see here. Let me go look at the. Let me go look at the posts. All right, let me look at the description here. It was... So one of these is I believe it's a AMD Radeon 5870 Twin Frozer, which I think is going to be this one, 5870. No other notes for it, so I'm presuming it's probably in working shape, because everything that wasn't working completely had a note with it. So a 5870, and then an MSI, or no, an XFX 6870. It's noted as not 100% sure on this card. It worked in a lot of testing, but certain things like Ubuntu did not play nice with it. So, anyways, two PCI Express video cards of slightly older vintage. Oh, wow, I used to have a Twin Frozer card. It was a 7950 twin frozer. It didn't feel as nice as this one, because this is actually a metal fan cover. I think by the 78 or the 7950 or the 7900 series, I think it was plastic, because this is, I think, metal. That actually feels really nice. All right, so hopefully I'll figure out what's wrong with this card. It may just be a matter of maybe this generation just doesn't like Ubuntu or something. I don't know. Anyways, so let's go ahead and put them back in the bag. Francois says, that is not a video card, it is a blunt object. Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Alright, oh, and I have my PCI Express video card box sitting here. How convenient. I'll just go ahead and stick those in there. And then finally, we have this. And I believe this heatsink goes with what's in the box. And let me look at the... here we go. So it's a party in a box. Quite literally, it's a DFI LAN party motherboard. I remember seeing advertisements for these. The DFI LAN party NF4 SLI. So it's got a Athlon 64X2 3800 Plus and a gigabyte of RAM. Oh, there we go. There's the LAN party branding. There we go. There's the processor, and it's got a gigabyte of Corsair memory. Very nice. We got a very interesting collection of ports. Oh, we got FireWire on this. How nice. Yeah, Harder Hacker says, I sent you my eBay fund from today in Discord. Feel free to share if you want. All right, I'll take a look at it when I get a moment. Francois says, for some reason, I can't seem to record from OBS on the Dell. Failed to create process pipe. Interesting. Anyways, now this motherboard does have a fault with it, which I probably won't be able to fix, but I wasn't planning on using it for SLI, but Big Steve couldn't get SLI working. So maybe there's a BIOS update, or maybe something's wrong with it and SLI is just not working for some reason. But it's still cool. It's a LAN party. Enforce 4 motherboard. I thought it was worth a shot. It is a bit normal than I would normally deal with, but hey. Sometimes you have to... Yeah, Sadmex says, I actually kind of wanted one of those. Yeah, sometimes you have to go for the things that you remember reading about, and you're like, you know, I have to admit, I thought about getting one of those back then if I'd had a couple dollars. David says, some of those LAN party boards need some surgery to the PCH to get SLI working. Oh, interesting. This might be one of them. Hi, David. Starbuck, welcome. Anyways, who knows? Maybe I might get SLI working. Maybe I might enjoy it for a single video card. But I do have... I don't think I have any NVIDIA graphics cards that do SLS, so there is that. But I do have an NVIDIA graphics card that's actually 2 graphics cards stacked together, and it's broken. But it might just be caps, so there is that. I bet this board works with that just fine, and I think that board is probably basically doing SLI, but not across the PCI Express backplane. Oh, hi, Harley777, welcome. Harley says, nice NF4, I have one of those with the yellow parallel ATA and serial ATA cables. Neat. Sadmax says, or in my case, saw it appear in a YouTube video involving one of the Windows betas and thought it was neat. Well, anyways, someday we'll have a LAN party, but... Oh, David Starbuck just sent a YouTube video, probably dealing with the issue he was describing, so let me go add that to my watch list. Or my watch later list. That is the way I will remember to review it and see what the deal is. You know, that's very, very interesting. All right. Oh yeah, that does look like the motherboard. That very much looks like this motherboard. From about, it says, yeah, LAN party PC AMD socket 939 from about 2005 or early 2006. Video card's a little newer, more accurate LAN party case would have been handle on the top. Oh, neat. All right, so I will watch this video. Ooh, that gives me ideas for how to configure it even. All right, normally newer than I would normally dabble with, but hey, it's a LAN party. And you know what else is a party?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our favorite segment, Wheel of Regrets. Here's your host, Dustin D. Morgan.
Hey, who comes up with these titles anyway?
Okay, I thought I could get the box onto the workbench before the video ended. And then I forgot how heavy the box is. Hardware Hacker says, who comes up with these titles anyway? Yeah, alright. So this first item, which is too heavy for me to have grabbed with one hand, that's why I was having trouble getting it up, comes to us from an eBay seller in California. So hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in California. This is actually 2 auctions worth of items. It is of, yeah, Hardware Hacker says it is of regrettable weight. Yeah, let me see if the label has a weight on it. Oh, it does not have a weight because it got a cubic price. That's how they, okay, that's probably how they refunded me shipping. So this was sent by a ground advantage, and it got shipped by volume, not weight. So this was actually 2 auctions that the same seller had listed. Well, of course it's the same seller. eBay has yet to do the Amazon model of shipping where you can buy from multiple sellers and it gets sent from a common warehouse. Please don't do that, eBay. That would be a royal disaster, because if Amazon can't commingle inventory without sending out something that shouldn't have been commingled, I really don't expect eBay could. All right. So they listed these for $7 plus like $15 in shipping on each auction. They sent an offer out on each of the auctions for $6 plus shipping, and I bit on both, and then they refunded one of the shipping fees. And obviously, what did I buy? 2 lots of cables. So let's see if we can figure out what I got. Given the volume of the box, I believe I did get all the cables I paid for. So, in no particular order, and then I'll kind of come up with a tally at the end. David Starbucks says, that is certainly a lot of cables. Sadmax says, a whole bunch of ribbon cables, it looks like. Hi, Rudy, welcome. We are in Wheel of Regrets, Thomas. It is wheel time. Hi, Rudy. So we have a SCSI cable for 2 devices. All right, we have a floppy cable for 2 devices. Oh, neat. And it actually plugs into an edge connector, and it's 2 of the newer style floppy drives. So I may end up using this on an XT. Neat. All right, so one... I'm just going to tally them as like floppy, SCSI, IDE, MFM if we happen to run into any, and other. So this one, I believe, is a floppy cable. So that's going to be 2 floppy cables. Now, I may, if there is any MFM cables in here, I can't guarantee I won't get them mixed in with floppy, because you have to pay really close attention to where the twist is. So we got another floppy cable. And, oh, okay, this one is... that one's a floppy cable. Okay. I think the twist on an MFM cable is much closer to the edge of the cable. Thomas Armstrong's asking, any 488 cables in there? I think these are all going to be drive cables, but we'll see. So we got a floppy cable. I'm thinking these are going to be predominantly floppy and hard drive cables. Let's see, that's a floppy cable. That one's definitely a floppy cable. Nice. Oh, wait. Oh, that's a really cool floppy cable. You know what this is? This, I believe, is actually a floppy drive cable with a 3rd connector for a tape drive, or it would let you plug in the 2nd drive in one of 2 places, but I think this is probably a tape drive cable. Because the tape drive would have had a different drive select on it than the floppy drives. Yeah, Harder Hacker says, I believe it. That cable was certainly floppy. All right, I believe we have an IDE cable for 1 device. So, there we go. That's going to be a floppy cable, but in blue. Oh, that's a neat cable. That is going to be an IDE cable, but to go from desktop to laptop. Now, how you power the drive is beyond me, so this may not be incredibly useful, but it is an IDE cable, so we'll put it in Camp IDE. All right, we've got another... Oh, no. This is not a floppy cable. This is an MFM cable. So if you'll notice, the floppy cable has the twist here. That's an MFM cable. The first clue was there were 2 edge connectors on it, but then I saw where the twist was. So that's actually an MFM cable. Oh, there we go. We've got another one of those IDE cables, but this one's got the power adapter with it. So that first one I pulled out may have been broken. Neat. TedMax says, I don't know my floppy cables for my IDE/parallel ATA ones, so you'd think I would, but I didn't take the computer apart as a kid. Francois says, I should now go home, shower, and sleep. Yeah, you probably should, Francois. Not that I want to distract anyone from watching my live streams, but the hours you keep sometimes. All right, we have another floppy cable, but this one's actually interesting in that it has the twist. I should have known there was probably a cable that did this. This one's got the twist at the middle connector. So that would be your A drive, and that would be your B drive. Wow. Okay, that is really neat. Oh, hi, Mike's Future Retro. Welcome. Yeah, more regret finds. All right, we have an... that's a broken floppy cable. Yeah, that one's definitely broken. All right, well, I'll put that in the broken cable pile. That other IDE cable without the power connector, it is possible there might be a laptop drive out there that has a power connector on it as well, so I won't call it broken, but... Okay, now this is a tape drive cable. And the way I know that is because, well, it's marked to tape drive. But the other clue was it has that connector on it. So you would plug this into the floppy controller, plug your normal floppy cable in here, assuming it didn't have a bent pin. So that will need to be repaired if I ever want to use it. And then that would plug into the tape drive. And then your normal floppy cable would be connected as usual. So I'll put that in the tape drive cable. This is how it would have been connected. Here's another tape drive cable. So there's the floppy cable for the system. And then there's where the tape drive would go. So I don't know that I'll ever have any use for a tape drive cable, but I don't know. Maybe there's uses I haven't thought of. All right, there's another floppy cable. It's got some scratches on the one side, but I think it's fine. Or I think that's a floppy cable. Yeah, it would have to be a floppy cable because... that would be about the only thing that might work without a twist. Well, I guess it could be MFM if you can change the drive select jumper. All right, another floppy cable. I think floppy cables are probably going to win the lot. All right, that's an IDE cable. Yeah. TedMax says that's folded in a way that made me think it's IDE for a Mac. Could have been. All right, this one's a floppy cable. Now, the reason I can tell is floppy cables are 34 pins. And if they have a key pin, they're like far over onto the one side. IDE cables are 40 pins. MFM cables are also 34 pins like a floppy cable, but the twist is in a different place. I think that's a floppy cable. Oh, there's another one of those IDE cables for connecting a laptop hard drive to a desktop IDE. And another one of those. Very nice. It's nice to have a couple of those. And, okay, another floppy cable. And let's see, that one's going to be an IDE cable, I believe. No. Wait, that's, I don't know what that is. It's 50 pins, but the pin pitch is way smaller. I think this might be SCSI, but for a 2.5-inch SCSI drive. Yeah, that must be a SCSI cable. That's a really... I've never seen one of those SCSI cables, but I guess I should have known it would exist. Oh, here we go. Another SCSI cable. Those are 68-pin SCSI connections. Very nice. That right there might have paid for the whole box if I'd had to buy one of those. All right, another floppy cable. I like how these cables are blue. It's almost like they came out of a particular OEM system. All right, that's another floppy cable. All right, that I think is going to be IDE. That one's going to be IDE, and I know because it's printed on it. This one is IDE with caulk on it, probably to keep it from falling out of a drive. That's okay, that's a really weird floppy cable. And it's broken. Oh, here we go. That one's a floppy cable. Oh, yep, I know it's floppy because it's marked A and B. Thomas says those can be used in an Atari Mega file. Okay. All right, that's an IDE cable. That's going to be a floppy cable, I think. Yep, that's a floppy cable. Let's see here. Floppy cable. Oh, another one of those IDE cables. This one has the power adapter on the ribbon. So that's probably really delicate. Another floppy cable with 3 connectors. I got floppy connectors for weeks. All right, we got another SCSI connector. Or SCSI cable. Oh, yeah. Okay, my address would have been upside down, but still. All right, we got another floppy cable. Any gold bars in there? No, there's not. At least, not that I found. SCSI cable. Let's see here. That, I believe, is an IDE cable. Another floppy cable. I think that's an IDE cable. That's a floppy cable. That's going to be an IDE cable. And let's see, that's a floppy cable. That's an IDE cable. And that is a floppy cable. And that is an IDE cable. An 80 conductor one, so that's the way this one's was folded. This one might have been from an external enclosure or something. And, oh, there we go. To go with the MFM cable, fortunately, there's the MFM data cable. David says, I'm not going to lie, I don't miss ribbon cables at all. Yeah. So, this would be the, I think the control cable. Or maybe this was the control cable and the data still came over this one. But anyways, MFM drives, you had this 34-pin cable that both drives would be connected to the same cable. But then each MFM drive got its own, I don't know, I think it's like a 16-pin cable or something. Anyways, so we've got one set of MFM cables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 SCSI cables. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 standard IDE cables. Rudy says, I need another box of cables. 4 desktop to laptop IDE cables, which have the power connector connected. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 floppy cables. Oh. No, 27 floppy cables and 1 tape cable. I grabbed the tape cable prematurely. And then 1, 2, 3 broken cables. Thomas says it's a good box for a mess of wires. So all that for basically 25 bucks, 26 bucks. I think that was a pretty good deal. Tartar Hacker says, or dare I say it, big mess of wires. Yeah. I paid less than $1 a cable. That's actually a deal. In fact, actually that one SCSI 68 pin cable probably would have been worth the 25 bucks if I'd had to buy a new one. So, yeah. I feel like I got my money's worth there. All right. Next. All right. Next, I think we're going to go for this box that comes to us from as soon as I can get a hold of it. All right. Your chat challenge is to guess when I bought this. But this comes to us from an eBay seller in Virginia. So hi to all my fellow Virginian eBay sellers and viewers. You may wait until I open this to make your guess. Because Mike's already guessed 8 days ago. Jesse's guessing bought in 1968. Yeah, I bought this on eBay before I was born and before eBay was even a glimmer of hope in the founders' eyes. Yeah. Hi, Jesse. Welcome. Callan. Hi, Callan. Welcome. Got Bomb says, if that's a UNIVAC. Thomas Armstrong's guessing yesterday, and he hasn't even seen what's in here. Hardware Hacker says, if that's a VIC-20. Thomas says, UNIVAC, ouch, sore back. Oh, all right. Well, you can catch the replay. Unfortunately, someone has guessed correctly. I was thinking that no one would guess correctly, but someone has guessed correctly. Rudy says a VIC-21. Yes, someone has guessed correctly. So let me get this out of the box. And I think when you see what it is, you'll realize who guessed correctly. All right. No, the UNIVAC guesses were not correct. Exhibit number 1 should have been the fact that I was able to just pull this out of the box easily. Jean-Francois R.A. says, a multi-vac. Hi, John. David Starbucks says, unless a Time Lord made that box, a Univac wouldn't fit in it. Yeah. All right, we have... Thomas Armstrong says, another LC. Nope. No, it is not another LC. Gutbomb got this one. Oh no, a 2SI. However, Thomas Armstrong guessed correctly that I bought this yesterday. David Starbucks says, a beige box of regret. Yes. I bought another 2SI. I bought another broken 2SI to try to fix the broken one that I already have. Yeah, I'm going to have to, well, I don't have another cap kit, Thomas. I can't recap it now. I partially didn't realize where the seller was when I saved the auction. Okay, yes, we can get one thing out stat. Yes, when you, hold on. There is one thing I'm going to do first. I'm going to take a stylish social media photo here. There we go. All right. So, one Max-Swell battery, MAX-SWELL, if you ask me. Max-Swell battery, disarmed. Oh, wow. Does that say what I think it says? Oh, I don't think that's a... Oh, no, that doesn't say what I thought it did, because I had it upside down. It says 9009. That's the original Maxwell battery. Folks, I think I might have bought this just in the nick of time. By the way, they had they did have a photo with the battery visible. I would have not bought this had the battery have gone off. Even though I did pay a price which I think was more than fair. All right, so we are going to see what the voltage is. Negative voltage! All right, we've got a ZPM in the works. Or a ZPM for all of you that can't stand how Rodney McKay pronounces it. David Starbucks says, blackjack would be simpler. You know ahead of time you're going to lose. Yeah. All right. So we are not going to test this tonight. That's why I went ahead and opened it now. We're going to see what else I managed to get in it, because it's like life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get when you buy a $50 plus shipping 2SI on eBay. Oh, nice. I kind of thought that was the new bus adapter, but I couldn't tell because the picture was kind of grainy. So there we go. We have a new bus adapter. Very nice. Sadmax says, Z barely registered. Yeah. Well, I mean, we got to wait for that singularity in the other universe to finish forming. It's only slightly formed. All right, and we have RAM, which is good. Let me see if I can tell how much RAM it is. I believe these are going to be 1 megabyte sims, because these are Okidata M51100A chips on it. So yeah, 4 megabytes of RAM. Plus, I think there's 4 megabytes on board. So I think a total of 8 megabytes of RAM in this system. New bus card. The back cover is present. The fan is probably slightly stuck. There is a capacitor that has fallen off the board here. So there probably is some damage that'll have to be repaired there. Yeah, it kind of looks like the pads for that capacitor are gone. So that's going to be a little bit fun. Although I don't hear it rattling around, so... Oh, and it looks like that capacitor's gone. So that's going to be a little bit of fun. So I don't really want to power it up because of how... Well, you know, maybe there is a way we could power this up. Oh, good night, Rudy. I might regret it. But let's see here. All right. So, we'll remove this floppy drive, which is not the dirtiest I've seen, but that is going to require cleaning. All right, that's at least good. I do need another high-density floppy drive because I got a Mac that I think is missing a floppy drive. So if I manage to get one at 2SI working out of 2 by the magic of eBay, why is this power supply? Oh, that's right. You got to remove the fan to remove the power supply. All right, hold on. Oh, wait. Hardware Hacker said, "Are we going to test what I sent you on Discord?" I hadn't looked at your message yet. Let me. Oh yeah. Let me. Let me see if I can't open these in a browser that I don't accidentally show something on Discord that I don't want to. There's 1, 2, and 3. So, Hardware Hacker recently went shopping on eBay, the place where I buy the things I later regret. And while I try to get the fan out of this case, we'll take a look at some of Hardware Hacker's potential eBay regrets. So, we got this cool on-air sign. Oh, you know, maybe... All right, I'm trying to remove the fan. You know, maybe if I sprayed some contact cleaner. All right, let me spray some contact cleaner on the logic board between the fan and the, or kind of around where the pins are on the logic board. All right. Because this might, the pins might be stuck. All right. And we got a bar open sign. Oh, that's neat. So there we go. Some LED style signs. Very, very neat. So hopefully those signs do you well, hardware hacker. And good night, Rudy. And now let me see if I can get this fan out now that I've sprayed a little contact cleaner between the, or tried to get some contact cleaner down. You're supposed to be able to just pull up on the fan. Although it may also not want to come out because I started to remove the power supply, and I think I was supposed to remove the fan before I tried to pull the power supply out. But maybe a spudger can save me from my order of operations mistake. Oh, there we go. Considering there is a rust on the edge of this power supply, I'm not even going to even attempt to use that. I'll go get the... Oh, yikes. Nope, I don't think we're going to power this board up. I just noticed there's another missing capacitor. Maybe what... Alright, maybe what we'll do instead is let's get some isopropyl alcohol and see how bad the... Oh, Hardware Hacker says the on-air will appear in the background of my videos. Cool. Alright, so let's see how bad the capacitor carnage is on this board. I will take solace in the fact that I did get a new bus card with it, so... Oh, look at that. This capacitor just fell off the board in real time. Lovely. Something tells me these capacitors are probably all just itching to fall off the board. I am kind of hoping the pads are still there. This is going to be a... Oh, look at that! Another capacitor. It just came right off the board. I didn't twist or anything. I just lightly bumped it. And another one that just came right off the board. Yeah, I'm probably going to... You know, I should probably just go ahead and remove the rest of the capacitors. Just right now. Because I have a feeling they're just going to come off the board anyways. David says that board has summer capacitors. Some are there, some ain't. Yeah. Yeah, this board's gonna just have to be... All right. And Harder Hacker says to prevent capacitor decay, brush after each power cycle. I probably am just going to have to ultrasonically clean this board. There's no two words about it. In fact, I've got the SE board that I need to ultrasonically clean in citric acid. So, all right. I know this is probably one of the most controversial methods of capacitor removal, especially because I don't think these capacitors really are on the board by much at the moment. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove the rest of these capacitors, and I will slate this board for ultrasonic cleaning when I get the SE board, which will probably be this weekend. And that capacitor just came right off. This one, oh, that one was actually still attached a little bit. I will, though, I will wipe the board down where these capacitors were with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, just to, like, clean up anything that's there. If I could get the fan out, maybe I can get the... You're supposed to be able to... Oh. All right. Okay, so I just sprayed the fan again with some contact cleaner, and I'm hoping that maybe... You're supposed to be able to just pull up on it, and I feel like I'm bound up on something. Oh, but I don't think it's the pins. I think it's the... There we go. Got it. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and remove this logic board. All right. And get the rest of the capacitors off of it, and then I'll probably slate it for the citric acid, and then a normal ultrasonic cleaning before I recap it, because I got to order a cap kit for it. All right. But we'll at least get the capacitors off, and we'll have to reserve regret judgment for later, because I think there's just too much that I can't see on this board to just full send. Although, quite honestly, even if this logic board is also toast, although maybe at least I could maybe some parts are good off of it, and well, that capacitor just came right off as well. This must have been Apple's really bad dog days of capacitors. Oh, that one just came right off the board too. They didn't even let me cut them off. They just left. They left the board. Those capacitors wanted to no longer be involved in any crummy computing decisions by the 2SI. Oh, all right. Since I'm not going to ultrasonically clean this tonight, I'm at least going to try to somewhat clean up the pads. You know, maybe I should. Maybe I should put this in the ultrasonic cleaner like tonight. I don't have time to heat it up, but I mean, what's the worst that can happen? More components fall off? Oh, at least this board has that capacitor on it, then my other one doesn't. So maybe I'll be able to measure it and see what it is. Oh, it's C39. All right, at least I got a component reference. All right, this board is so gross. I might have to buy another bristle tip for my mechanical toothbrush. Although I am starting to see pads under some of this gunk that I think's what leaked out of the capacitors. So I think there may still be pads there. In fact, I think the capacitor's legs may still be there. Those pads might still be there. I think C20's pads are still there. The egret's still there. I think C10's pads might still be there. Hi, Dave. Welcome. For those of you that just joined, this is Wheel of Regrets. This is another 2SI that I bought yesterday because apparently I didn't learn from the first one. I am going to go ahead and toss this in. Do I want to toss it in? There is just enough gunk around some of this that I am going to go ahead and toss this in the ultrasonic cleaner. I will put this in for, say, 5 minutes. And if it doesn't look like that's causing any damage, we'll look at it, and I may put it in for 5 more minutes. But I'm only going to do the top side, probably. Well, I may do the bottom side for a couple of minutes just to make sure there's nothing on it. But, all right. Let's guess how... Carter Hacker says, let's guess how many more caps come off in the cleaner. Well, there are no surface mount electrolytic caps on it right now, so if we lose any in the cleaner, they're ceramic caps, or the very few tantalum caps that are on the board. But yeah, place your guess in the chat. All right. Let's go ahead. I'll, Gutbum says, it's a 2SI. I know where you should toss it. David's asking, Gutbomb, forgive my ignorance. What's wrong with the 2SI? So let's imagine the world of Jurassic Park where they spared no expense. Now, toss that idea out of your mind. And now let's instead imagine corporate America where profits are king and Apple computers are expensive, and they decide that to increase revenue, increase people buying them, they need cheap Macs to offer alongside the expensive Macs, and they spare every expense. And that, my friends, is how the 2SI and the Macintosh IIsi were born. Yes, the spare no expense was the Quadra 700. The spare every expense was the Mac 2SI. I would probably contend that the Mac LC was maybe built just a little bit better because they knew students were going to be pounding on it, but only a little bit better. All right, so I guess I'll go ahead and throw this in the ultrasonic cleaner, assuming I can get out around the final 2 regrets that I need to open on the floor. And there is a bigger chance that we'll actually... Harder Hacker says, only kinda. Well, I have had several Mac LCs that I have not been able to long-term rescue. I think there may have potentially been some extra cost cutting on the LC that maybe Apple dialed back on the LC. Alright, well, I'm going to have to unplug the dinosaur to run the ultrasonic. Alright. Well, that 2SI board gets a bath. a bath of. I'm not really sure what we're going to find when it's done. Let's go to the next Wheel of Regrets entry. And this one we might actually try to test. So this one comes to us from an eBay seller in New York. So hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in New York. Oh. Yeah, Gupbomb says... Oh, I know you probably couldn't hear me. The ultrasonic trash can. Oh, I was saying I was going to have to unplug the dinosaur to run the ultrasonic cleaner. David Starbucks says, so I should buy three 2SIs then. Yeah, probably. Yeah, Gupbomb says, specifically Apple's onboard video for it shares the system RAM in a way that makes both slower than they should be. It had a bunch of other weird limitations due to it being very cheaply made, and the power supply's always borked. Yeah, my dinosaur's a little deflated. He's quite mad at me right now for taking his dinner. You didn't know Tyrannosaurus Rexes ate electricity. Well, this one does. All right. You can place your guesses in the chat, but oh good, at least they're the degradable packing peanuts. But it's not another 2SI. I'm not that crazy. I'm actually crazy enough I would probably buy a pallet of 2SIs to try to make one working. No, I'm not that crazy. I have my limits. Gupbomb says, it's an Emerson. No, this one's not an Emerson. Harder Hacker says, it's a VIC-24. Now, Jesse's probably the only one that might guess this one. That was sort of a clue. David Starbucks says, Apple was never the bang for buck option. No, as I said, Jesse's going to be the only one that's going to guess this one. And I think Jesse understood the assignment. It's not a Compaq LTE. So, I was browsing eBay, the place where I buy the things I later regret, and I saw this LTE 286, untested, no power brick, no battery. Quite honestly, a fool's errand of a hope that it's actually going to work. I don't smell any fish, but I just know that something's got to be leaking. Jesse, yeah, Jesse says, Jesse knows that unique beige color. David Starbucks says, and that smell. Jesse says that too. Yeah, David says that smell of old laptop. Yeah. Yeah, it's got some broken plastic. Oh, the 2SI beeped. Harder Hacker says, something died in there. Powered up to find out. Yeah, I was actually tempted to go find my power brick for these and see if maybe this one just happens to do something. It probably will only emit bad smells. That that seem Jesse says the really nasty ones are in the floppy drive. Yeah. I am not sure I have any hope for rescuing one of these floppy drives, but David says it won't work. They never do. All right, well, let me go find the power brick. I forgot to bring it to my bench. Assuming I can remember where I put it. Oh, okay. I think I remember where I put it. So, this power brick has been recapped and repaired. Jesse says I've been batting 6 for 7 on floppy drives so far. Well, all I was saying is I wasn't sure where I put it. Yeah. My commentary was not required to enjoy the stream. Although that's weird. Normally people can hear me somewhat. Maybe my microphone is failing. All right, so assuming this power adapter hasn't just like outright failed since I last used it. Let's see here. Turn the right plug on. All right. Oh, good. We have LEDs, green and amber. That's good. And all right, 3, 2, 1. All right. Okay, it says 640 KOK. The floppy drive just seeked. We have a disk controller failure. What's the chance that this thing will boot from a DOS disk? Jesse says he is going to YOLO it. Yeah, I just YOLO'd an LTE 286. That was probably, in retrospect, that was probably a bad idea. Are these high density or double density drives? I did not like the sound of that. The floppy LED was blinking amber and green. That's really weird. And it's not booting from the floppy drive. Yep, looks like I'll probably be repairing the floppy drive. I'll probably be recapping it too. I sure thought I got a whiff of fish. That DOS disk may be toast. Jesse says, it can't read the disk. Citizens do that from this era. Yeah, it's a bad citizen. What's the chances it'll boot from the hard drive? Oh, the hard drive just spun down. Probably 0. Oh, okay, now we've got some more useful errors. Disk controller failure, RTC lost power, system options not set, run setup. David Starbucks says, the chance of it reading from the hard drive is nope. Yeah, Jesse says, probably none until you replace that CMOS battery and run the Compaq diags. Yep. All right, well, it powered up. It probably won't power up again. I don't smell fish. You need a working floppy for the latter. Yep. I guess I'm going to have to watch one of your live streams where you fixed a floppy drive. All right, well, this is not a repair stream. This is a regrets testing stream, so... All right, let me write some testing notes on an official testing tape. Yeah, they need this. Yep, they need the setup disk. Compaq copied IBM. All right, so it did. We powered up, HDD, spun up, FDD, bad, no boot from HDD. Until setup. CMOS battery dead. Needs recapped. You're probably wondering how I know it needs recapped before I even open it up. Well, there are just some constants in retro computing, and just like the Mac IIsi, these need recapped. Jesse says if it's the Citizen U0, it needs 4 caps. Citizen U1 drives have 3 caps. Yep, I'll open it later. I'll make a note. I'll put that on another piece of tape. So Citizen U0. There's 4 caps. U1 is 3 caps. Unsure of which. Yes. It will need caps. That's definitely for sure. All right. Yep, this was before BIOS was a thing. Anyways, there we go. Also, at least my power adapter still worked, because this is the one I was able to repair and recap. June of last year. I have another power adapter that I was unable to repair. It was too far gone. But, so at least I have one power adapter. And let's see here. Let me go check the IIsi logic board in the ultrasonic cleaner. I hope it doesn't come to that, hardware hacker. I don't want to tempt the fate that someone will feel obligated to start an HOA. Alright. I deemed that not clean enough, so I'm going to put that in for another 5 minutes. Alright, so this next item comes to us from an eBay seller in Connecticut. So, hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Connecticut. How about let me just do this with the box flap, and then I don't have to find the address redacting tape. Alright, so this item I bid on. So I was watching this auction. I've been watching it for a week to... I'd been watching it for a week to 10 days. Hardware Hacker says it's an 11 CI. Oh, I was cutting out. Yeah, I probably was. I'll have to remember... yeah. Around the corner, the mic can't hear me. Duh. So, I'd been watching this auction for like a week to 10 days. Hoping no one would bid on it. I think sometime Saturday, someone placed a bid. So I knew I had my work cut out for me. Placed a bid for my best and last and final amount that I'd be willing to pay for it. 3 seconds to go on the auction. And it turns out the person that had bid on it apparently only bid the starting price. So I got it for 50 cents more than the starting price. So how much was the starting price? It was $19.99. So how much did I pay for this computer? $20.49 plus shipping. The eBay shipping calculator had calculated shipping was like $50, which I thought was kind of high, but whatever. But then the seller refunded like $22 once they actually packaged it. So in reality, this only cost me around $50. And someone actually did lob a guess in that was directionally correct. And David Starbucks says, and it's worth $1.99. No, I've done something silly. So remember, I bought a 2SI. I bought a broken 2SI to try to fix my first broken 2SI. I bought a potentially broken LTE 286 to fix at least one, if not two, other broken LTE 286s. Carter Hacker says it's a third 2SI. No, actually, I think Gut Bomb placed the directionally correct guess. Yes, it was Gut Bomb that placed the directionally correct guess. Yes, you guessed something, Gut Bomb, and then I said Not this package or something like that. Because your guess applied to this one, not the LTE 286 box. Oh, you have a UNIVAC. No, it's not a UNIVAC. But it is. Oh, Capcom just realized which guess it was. Yes, yes. I bought another probably broken Emerson to try to fix a broken Emerson. I don't learn. All right, let's pull it out of the box and see what I've got myself into now. Assuming I can get it out of the box. All right, there is one thing in this computer that might be all right, there we go. All right. Hardware Hacker says, I can't comment when I keep buying 2 CIs. Yes. David Starbucks says, so you bought 2 broken computers to build a broken computer. Sounds normal. Yeah. I feel like I'm Greg Salazar. And here we have another viewer's broken gaming PC, except this is not a gaming PC. Well, I mean, I guess it is a gaming PC. Just not the gaming PC that Greg Salazar would repair. And here we have the channel owner's broken vintage gaming PC. Now, will you stay with me? And no, this stream is not sponsored by SKCD, or VIP SKCD, or whatever the store name is. All right. Yeah, we'll see if anyone's subscribes to his channel and recognizes that I think I nailed about what he says during his Fixer Flop series. eBay wheels. All right, we have an Emerson 8800 EC. This one has 1 floppy drive and 1 hard drive. The first one I bought has 2 floppy drives, so that's good. Second of all, the plastic bezel did not get broken during shipping of this one, so that is a bonus. There is rust on the top, though. That is repairable. Someone has epoxied the 3 remaining feet onto the case. Or it looks like epoxy. It could be Gorilla Glue. I'm not sure. David Starbucks says DOA HDD. Thomas Armstrong says MFM HDD. Yeah, it looks pretty nice until we get to the back. All right. The power supply has a bit of patina on it. This is like some weird form factor power supply, and that's what's broken on that. That is for sure broken on my first one, and this is like some really weird format that I've only seen on this computer. So I'm hoping the power supply doesn't have weird gunk in it. And maybe I'll be able to identify components in this one and maybe fix the other power supply. All right, but we are going to open this up and we're going to see how good or bad I did. And we'll also probably not power it up with this power supply because I'm not that brave, especially because there's rust on the power supply, but we'll, I think we may power it up, assuming there's no shorts, we may power it up with an ATX to AT adapter, because at least an AT power supply should have decent short circuit protection and overload protection. And David Starbucks says, open it up, and there's a 2SI in it. Yeah, that would be hilarious. All right. I'm fairly sure I know why the first person bid on this, and it wasn't because they wanted an Emerson PC, probably. Oh, I think there's another screw. Oh, yeah, I missed a screw holding the case on. For sure. It's missing a screw, but I missed the middle screw. All right. David Starbucks says, at least it didn't come packed and used cheap. Yeah, that's for sure. All right, and I don't know if this is the original complement of cards or not, but we have... All right, so far so good. I've spilled the isopropyl alcohol. All right, that definitely is an Emerson 8800 EC motherboard. And I believe this is correct that there's only one ROM chip. It looks like it has all the RAM. And we've got an MFM controller. Does this have the crazy CMOS RAM clock? Oh, there's the CMOS battery right there. So all I probably have to do is replace that battery and we should be good. All right, we have a Seagate controller card. All right, that tells me this may not be original, but it could be. I mean, it could be original, but it may not be. Yeah, there's a nice BIOS on the board. All right, but I don't see any R's on the board, so it probably is MFM and not RLL. Also, given I think it was made in '89, probably is MFM. All right. Oh, and I'm zoomed in kind of. Ooh, sorry. I didn't mean to zoom in quite that far. Anyways, yep, we got an MFM board. And I think this is probably why the other person bid on this computer. I'm really not sure this is original to the system. But we have an ATI Small Wonder video card. I believe this is going to be a CGA card. Oh, wait. Yeah, I think it's CGA. And it may do Plantronics Color Plus mode. Yeah, it is nice and clean. Yep, ATI Small Wonder. I could... Oh, okay. Well, it's a small wonder that we have a tantalum capacitor on the board that is just hanging out. All right, we are going to... before I put this back in the computer... Yeah, no rust on the ports. Yeah, it looks fairly clean. I'm wondering if the case... It looks like the case may have taken the brunt of the rust damage. Okay, this tantalum is not shorted. Also... Oh, good job on ATI. It's actually a 25-volt rated part on the 12-volt rail, probably. So actually, yeah. That's how you do a tantalum cap. Twice the rating of the voltage rail it's on. So, yep. I'm not worried there. that's a pretty nice card. And the Seagate controller card, again, the tantalum caps are 25-volt rated parts, so not too worried about that. Now, I am a bit worried about the original power supply. So I'm going to disconnect it. Yeah, the small wonder card's pretty nice. So, I mean, I don't know what the original configuration of this computer was. I can find zero information on it. Or, well, I think I found... Actually, no, I take that back. I tried to search the web on information for it, or searcharchive.org, and I didn't find anything. But I think I did find a reference to it in a magazine article. I think there might be a hyphen or something in the model name now that I think about it, which is probably why my text search of archive.org failed. But I think I've got, I think I downloaded the magazine issue that it was mentioned in, along with a few other Emerson computers. All right, so I am going to unplug the power cable. I'm fairly sure this is a standard pinout. Actually, you know, if I was thinking, I should probably... Probably the first power-up will do without the drive. Let me just... How about to make it easier to get to the power supply cables, let me just remove the controller card. And then I will have easier access to the power connector. Yep, I've had these powered up with a standard AT supply first. All right, first power up. Well, before I power it up, though, I am going to check for shorts, because I think there are a few tantalums on the board. And although the controller card and the video card may have used appropriately rated tantalum caps, okay, that's common. Yep, okay. I think we're good. Okay, everything looks good. Yep, there's no math coprocessor installed, but there's the processor. Floppies are connected. I've got the power supply disconnected. Let me see. Where's the... Yeah, let me see if I can find the AT power adapter. That's it, right? Oh, there's... Oh, no wonder I haven't been able to find the good side cutters I've been looking for. They fell into a box that was beside my desk. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Alright. Yes, I've built myself a slight walking path obstruction with these guys. Unbox. And I don't see the AT All right, let me go set a few things off to the side here. All right, let me take the 2SI number 2 and set it over here to the side. All right, now let me set the Yamaha music computer off to the side. Oh, I haven't tested it yet. Maybe we'll get adventurous and test it. All right, so I'm going to leave it. It's the one from Japan. Let's see here. All right, let me move this off to the side. Just trying to get to the point where I can see my power adapter. I guess if I really misplaced it, I'll just grab an AT power supply. All right. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it looks like I just dropped a bunch of frames. And seriously, I can't control what Comcast does. All I can do is pay my bill and hope that they don't start dropping crazy, massive, large numbers of packets. And just wait for the fiber provider to come to my neighborhood. That's all I can do with Comcast. Alright, what did I do with my AT power adapter? Alright, I guess I am going to have to find an AT power supply. Oh, that's right. I know where it is. It's on the computer I tested on day 3. Not exactly what I was looking for, but it's close enough. All right. I did get to the post office, Thomas. It was that I did have it on my list of things to test. Although technically the adapter I picked up at the post office did not come from eBay. And we're technically still in Wheel of Regrets. But yeah, we'll probably get to that shortly after this computer. Yeah, I got to the post office yesterday. To find that there was a parcel note in my mailbox. Although then I realized what the postmaster did. It was for the same package. She saw my street address and knew exactly which mailbox I was. It's a small post office. So when I asked her which form she wanted me to sign because they were the same form, she was like, I like mine better. So I signed the one she'd put in my mailbox. Her reasoning was, I can read my writing. No, I don't trust the Emerson PSU, Thomas. I don't. Would you trust a power supply that has rust on it? I wouldn't. Yeah, 40-year-old power supply. What could go wrong, says David Starbuck. That tells me everything I need to know. All right. Thomas Armstrong says rust is stylish. Rust tells me there was water somewhere. All right. Smoke test in 3, 2, 1. All right. No smoke. All right, let's see if I can remember which HDMI port the RGB to HDMI is on. Is it that one? No, it's not. It's not that one. Is it that one? No, it doesn't look like it's that one either. Maybe it was HDMI too. All right. Oh, there we go. Color bars don't mean that the adapter's working. Oh, wait, we got text on the screen. Oh, wait, I don't think this is a CGA card. Small wonder, it might be an EGA card. Alright, we're just have to go around until we find one that it actually syncs on. Oh yeah, there's definitely text there. It said Phoenix Technologies. Seriously, they need to put some of these profiles in. Alright, they need to break some of these profiles up into categories. Subcategories and sub-subcategories. Like, maybe a primary category of, like, manufacturer brand. It's the small wonder. I know it's not VGA, because it's a non-pin. I was thinking it was CGA, because there's 64K of RAM on the board. But now I'm thinking it's EGA, because EGA... So, CGA would have 16K of RAM, but if it was Plantronics Color Plus compatible CGA, it would be 64K. But 64K would also be EGA. Or... Of course, that's Oh, is this set for MDA mode, maybe? Because it's... Alright. Oh, sure enough. I bet this card's set for... I bet this card's actually set for, MDA mode. Hercules... Well, no, I don't think the EGA small one, the ATS small wonders are... Okay, the small wonder graphics solution used its full title was a Hercules clone also able to support extended CGA modes. Yes, it supports Hercules CGA, extended CGA, and Plantronics Color Plus. Okay, I was not imagining things. Ah, and there we go. There's our problem. There's our problem. I'm pretty sure the jumpers are set for Hercules. Yeah, it was working behind the menu in Hercules mode. We're going to fix that. Alright, so there are 4 jumpers, and they all appear to be off. Well, that would explain the trouble. So thank you, David, for finding the DOS Days page. So switch off. Oh, interesting. It should actually be in CGA mode. Oh, no, I see the problem. It is in CGA mode. The card is in CGA mode. However, because switch 1 is off, so it is in CGA mode. So that y'all don't think I'm completely crazy. The jumpers are off, 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 off. So, off is CGA Plantronics Color Plus graphics mode. However, switch 2 off is a monochrome monitor. That's why it... So I was not imagining things that this was a CGA card. So if I turn switch 2 on, now it'll work with the CGA. Switch 3 is composite, although this doesn't have a composite output, so that's... Oh! Well, wait a minute. This has the header to hook up to a... Oh! I think this has a header on it that I could put this in a IBM PC portable. I'd have to solder the pin header on, but it's got the header. And then switch 4 is only used on... Alright, so there we go. I have fixed the jumpers so we can use CGA. I will not have to change jumpers on the motherboard because the card was probably reporting to the computer as a CGA card. I don't know. Well, I'm not going to need the drivers tonight, but I'll keep in mind that DOS has the drivers. Alright, another thing I'm going to do, since we are apparently cooking with sterno here, although quite honestly, I've never really figured out why cooking with sterno is a good thing, because sterno is the thing you use to just heat chafing dishes. Although maybe that saying is really saying that now you're cooking with sterno as your, I don't know. Alright, so I put the controller card back in. Doesn't mean we're going to power up with the Emerson power supply. I'm going to save my judgment on that for another day. I want to actually open it up and inspect it. But I am going to attempt to plug in power to both the MFM drive and the floppy drive, and we'll see what happens. Oh, I should probably plug a keyboard in too. Because if it does boot from the hard drive, then I'll probably need to run the perk utility to shut it down, because I don't know that this drive has auto park, because I can't tell what model it is. Alright, hard drive is plugged in. I think I'm going to need to... Oh, oh please. Not a lot of space between the floppy drive and the power supply. Oh, you know, what I could do to make it easier is take the screw out holding the floppy drive in. That would... Oh, no, that screw is not holding the floppy drive in. That's holding the bay... Oh, I think the floppy drive is just going to slide right out. No, hold on. Okay. Oh, there we go. That's weird. It's held on by screws on only one side. The other side has a slider. Alright, so let me slide the floppy drive out so that I can plug the power in. I don't think I'm going to be able to see the label on the hard drive. Alright, so there we go. I got the floppy drive plugged in, hard drive plugged in, and... Oh, I forgot to Hey, it's an ST238R. Oh, that is an RLL drive. And we are... Hey, wait a minute! Yeah, it's an angry... Actually, this is on the RGB to HDMI. Wait a minute, that's the Emerson Presents program. Alright, I definitely need to plug a keyboard in. Well, we're going to have to... We're going to have to wait for no disk activity. Well, I could put the CGA connector on, but there's no hole in the bracket. My specialty really isn't drilling into steel brackets. Oh, actually, you know, this is on my scaler, now that I think about it. Because the RGB to HDMI is widescreen, I have to set the scaler to full. I have a Dremel. Drilling into stainless steel is not my specialty. I want it to look original, not like Justin hacked it to death. Thomas says you need the resistor values too. Yeah, that would be another reason why I'm not going to just simply do it. And the transistor. That would be a third reason why I'm not going to just do it. There we go. Look at this. Emerson Presents. Now, RGB to HDMI. I don't need the menu anymore, so, like, go away. Applications. Well, this is like the Emerson menu program that the magazine mentions. Is it fixed yet? Well, I don't have the resistors. I don't have the transistor. I don't have the connector. We're jumping the gun. I don't even know if the power supply works. Oh, Gut Bomb says, just a catchphrase, not a real question. David says, if it wasn't broken yet, Gut Bomb, we are working on it. Oh, wow. Look at this. Business financial applications. Communications. Oh, there's none. Database. Educational. Games. Graphics. Why aren't any of these doing anything? Utilities. Word processing. Other. Oh, this is a useless menu. System. Directions. Yeah, give me... Yeah, could have figured that. Information. Nope, we already looked at that. Menu manager. Oh, okay. Calculator. Oh. Scheduler. Why does this look like a check disk? There we go. We'll run check disk. Insufficient memory. Ah, that's quitter talk. Exit to DOS. Yes, we want to exit to DOS. Why do we have insufficient memory? Now, that's not a lot of memory. Oh, well, Thomas just sent the link to the what you need to do. Well, I don't know. I don't know how risk averse I'm going to be because the card works. I don't want to break it. Oh, Thomas says just a 2N3904 on it. Win command. There is no Windows. DOS version 5. Oh, did I miss the comment? Oh, oh, Mike sent a video when that random just in case cord finally comes in handy. Oh, it's a video of some guy walking out to his SUV, opening up a toolbox that's got stuff in it, and he pulls out a random ribbon cable. Let me guess, he hands it to the customer looking for it. That's a good one, Mike. There we go. Oh, I'm pretty sure that there was Windows 1.0. It would have been awful. Is there a path to Windows? No, but there is a path to WordPerfect. Are there other copies of WordPerfect currently running? I don't think so. New name. Justin. Old document 2 backup file exists. We can delete it. Hi, Chris. Welcome. The good old WordPerfect temp file. I have no idea how to use WordPerfect, so we are going to Alt F. Error file not found. Was it Control F? No, it's not Control F. F7 to get out. Save document, no. Exit WordPerfect, yes. I'm hearing noises from this hard drive that don't sound healthy. David says we must forgive him for that. All right, what else is on this hard drive? I'm going to probably find some way to back up the menu program at least. Does it have scan disk? Oh, no, of course not. It has check disk, though. Sloopy says, hard drives are supposed to make noises. It's so you know they are working. Oh. Thomas says, I'm sure it's fully fragmented. Aw, there's no defrag, so you're probably right. Jesse says, I did lug a Pentium 2 laptop in my car for a few years. It did come in handy when I was tasked with decommissioning a voicemail system. Chris says, man, all of that CGA flicker. Yeah, it's MS-DOS 5. There... Oh, let's try something here. Is it Control-Alt-Escape, Control-S? Jesse says, oh, the Dell laptop the company had sent had a bad IDE port. All right, let's try to go to BIOS. I may have to actually cold boot it. Thomas says Frogger for DOS. Oh, we got other things to test. All right, let me see if I can get into the BIOS. Is it Control-Alt-S? Maybe there's a setup program? Control-Alt-Escape sometimes works. Yeah, Control-Alt-Escape is not working, and Control-Alt-S isn't working. So I'm going to cold boot the system. Oh, then we'll at least see the RAM test. Hardware hacker says Delta C : /. No, I want to back up the menu program because it was one of the advertised features of the Emerson computers was the menu program. Oh, it only has 512K of RAM? That's weird. I sure thought it had 640 on it. Thomas says, way too old for BIOS entry. I have an XT clone that has a BIOS setup on it. This one has dip switches on the motherboard, so maybe it doesn't have a... So maybe it only saves the date. Oh, no, that's going to be 11:25, whatever, something, I don't know, 42 p.m. Thomas Armstrong says 64K is way more than you need. Chris says, I doubt it has a BIOS setup. That hard drive is an option ROM. Well, maybe this one doesn't, but my other Emerson XT clone does have setup in a BIOS setup program. All right, let me look at the RAMs on the motherboard to see. Okay, so there's 512. Oh, sure enough, there is 640K on the motherboard. Yeah, there is 640K on the motherboard. Unfortunately, that's probably jumpered wrong, but I wasn't going to figure out jumpers tonight. Or there's bad memory, or maybe it's not seated. Let me try seating it. Yeah, they felt like they were in. Thomas says, remember the ads 2K is just enough. Yeah, sure enough, it's not seeing that extra 128K. So either there's a dip switch setting wrong, or some of those memory chips are bad. Nope, graphics card's not stealing RAM. It has its own RAM. No, there's probably a bad memory chip where it's switched wrong. I'll have to check my other 8800 EC motherboard, which I think also has the extra RAM installed, but I don't know if the board works. And I'll also have to check the spare 8800 EC motherboard that I have, which I think also has the extra RAM on it, and that board did not work last time I tried to test it. So I got one of these boards that I've never tested, and I don't think I tested it, and one that it didn't work last time I tried to use it. But I could check their dip switch settings compared to this one and see where they differ and maybe figure out which dip switch needs to be changed. Or steal their extra RAM chips and put them in this board, and because there might be bad RAM. All right, but anyways, Thomas Armstrong says you have a retro chip tester now. Yes, I do, but that would require me to find the power adapter. Oh, that's nice. There's no park command. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to find the park command, because I do not believe the ST238R is self-parking. I certainly do not see... Wait a minute, there is a Windows directory. This is not Windows. All right. Hardware Hacker says, so you mean it's not a Tesla? No, it's not a Tesla. Star ES? Oh. Okay. No, I don't think really old MFM drives don't park themselves. I didn't hear the drive. I don't think the 238 self parks, Thomas. I think it was the 258 that self-parks. I don't know where I came across that, but it was kind of hard to find the... I want to say that I found somewhere the 238. Yeah, it's a Seagate 238R. David Starbucks asking how many word processors do you need on one computer. I don't know how many you actually need on one computer, but I can tell you that this person had at least two. Yeah, it's a Seagate 238R, and I think I found somewhere that the 238R does not self-park. You have to run a park command on it. Because that's the same hard drive that is in my mega file, and the mega file documentation seems to indicate you have to run park on it. And it's also the drive that I bought on eBay separately. Well, for the purposes of me simply moving this computer off my workbench, I'm not worried about it. Thomas says ST225 had to be parked. I found some document that seemingly indicated the 238 also had to be parked. Unfortunately, I don't remember where I saw that, so I can't pull it up real quick, so I'm just going to be careful. Because the thing is, I didn't hear the heads retract. Although, then again, I got a fan running, so I may have not been able to hear the fans retract. All right. I'm just going to be careful. I will try to find the document I was looking at and clarify my... The hardware hacker says you can never power off the machine ever. Well, too late. I just powered it off. All right, of all the retro hard drives that I have managed to get a hold of that seemingly just work, so far I am 2 for 2 for the Seagate 2 for 2 for the Seagate 238Rs I've been able to... Maybe it's the Seagate 238 that doesn't self-park. I don't know. I look at lots of documentation all the time. Let me go set this aside, pull the USI logic board out of the as much as I don't like doing it after midnight, I am looking at the sheer volume of packaging material that I have opened tonight, and I am going to have to take some of it out to the curb after the stream. Alright. Oh, thank you, hardware hacker. Yeep. David Starbucks says, don't feed your computers after midnight. No, there's a bear in the neighborhood. Or supposedly there is. The bear knows that Friday's trash day. I don't want to take stuff out to the curb at midnight because the bear knows tomorrow's trash day. Yeah, this is the IIsi logic board that I received today. Yes, bears are smart. And granted, the bear probably would run off if I came anywhere close to it, but it's a black bear and it's dark outside. Oh, I'm pretty sure this bear can open doors too. Anyways, I'd rather not. Rather not meet the bear. Yeah, Gutbum says, my advice, avoid the bear. I mean, I could probably take them out in the morning. In fact, I probably will take them out in the morning. But I don't, because usually the trash company runs after I leave for work. But sometimes they are early. Although usually they're early either because the day before was a holiday or because they're calling for insane hot days. And I don't think the weather forecast tomorrow is insanely hot, so they probably won't be running early tomorrow, so I probably can safely wait till the morning. I didn't see anything extra floating in the bath. But the other thing is, I also can't, I would have to drain the ultrasonic cleaner to see if there's anything in the bottom of it, because I can't, I am not tall enough to see into the bottom of it with it on the table that I have it on. It's something that I will fix at some point. Step one is to work on a workbench that's made out of wood. However, I'll put it this way. If I can take the scraps and make a shorter table for the ultrasonic cleaner, in fact, one that would maybe be the right height to set beside a utility sink, then, yeah, especially if I happen to have just enough lumber left over to do it, yeah, that's probably the second thing I'll do. Because I don't really like how that I can't peer down into the bottom of the ultrasonic cleaner without finding a ladder or step stool or something. All right. So, looking at the board, there's still some pad issues. Jesse says, bears are brave around me too. They do not watch for cars at all, though. Thomas Armstrong says, bears watch TV through windows. Well, I'm usually watching TV all the way upstairs, so if the bear's watching through the window, then, well, I think I have bigger problems than... Uh-oh. Oh, thank you, hardware hacker. Wood for a short table. Yeep. Also, I think we have lost a leg of that component. Well, sayonara. It was good knowing you, Leg. Well, that is obviously going to cause a problem with the modem port. Yes, thank you, hardware hacker. Yeah, it's a resistor pack, but do they still make it? Or I think it's gone. Actually, or is it gone? David says that leg was optional. Well, not to System 7. System 7 will actually lock up if you... Oh, yeah, I think... Oh, no, wait a minute. Maybe the leg is still there. It's just really, really crusty. Well, actually, I can't tell. Oh, Thomas says they still make those parts. All right, well, I'll have to replace it if this is the board that works better. All right, after ultrasonic cleaning. All right, so this is what it looks like to me. So it looks like all right. That pad is at least partially gone. I think that pad is possibly still there. All right, well, that's... Or maybe that is a... Or maybe that is the pad. All right, I'm having trouble. All right, well, maybe they're still there. I can't tell. Cap on the ear jack is hiding. All right, Harder Hacker says it's still there. All right. Now, these ones, though, I don't think those caps are still there. I would, given the fact it's a quarter till 12, I would almost be tempted to fire up the soldering iron, put some flux on the board. All right, I guess since we don't really have time to test something else, it's not, I guess exploratory soldering is not repairing. It will help me decide whether I use this board as a repair candidate, or if I use this board perhaps to, for example, take the ASIC off and maybe swap it with my board. Because as much as I would like to repair everything, I do have to realize that not my original 2SI might be not functioning because, well, a failure in the ASIC is one of my ideas. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to add some solder. that. Well, this you see the thing is I'm thinking that my board might have a fault in one of the custom chips. Well, I guess they're both my boards now. My original board may have a problem in one of the custom chips, which I would probably not know. All right, yep, there are no pads there. There are no pads there. And I don't think there's actually pads there either. No. There's also no, well, okay, I didn't spill all the isopropyl alcohol. All right, so it does look like, oh wait, there may be some partial pads here. Oh, wait a minute. Because that pad's there. Yeah, this might be a parts board. Just depends on how many. I mean, I might try to power it up. Not now. I need to finish the cleaning, ultrasonic cleaning process. Yeah, I know it's 11:50. I just want to check all the status of these pads. Oh, okay, so it looks like that pad is still there. Uh, uh, oh, it actually looks like. All right, I knew those pads are still there. All right, those pads are. Well, it looks like there might actually be pads there at C10. Are these just like really, really, really crusty pads? They are definitely not taking solder. Okay, that one did. Okay, so there is a pad there, and it looks like there's like something there. Jesse says this will likely be a preview of what you will need to do with that floppy drive on the LTE 286. Yeah, maybe this is a sign that I should do what I was going to do, and that was ultrasonically clean this in citric acid. Maybe that might get some of this corrosion off. Well, I got to put the SE logic board in citric acid cleaning to try to get the rust off. I'm thinking maybe I might try this one in some citric acid as well. Maybe thinking that an acid might work through some of this gunk that because the cleaning solution that I normally use is base. It's basic. So kind of maybe if I try an acid, maybe that might work through some of the corrosion, and then do the normal cleaning. Might also help if I tried this. No, because I can't tell if those pads are still there. Here's the main ASIC. That's the one that I'm wondering could be bad on my other 2SI board. All right, I don't think any more attempting to solder is going to necessarily help tonight. So I'm just going to go ahead and well, actually, well, it looks like those pads might still be there. Oh, but I don't think those next pads are there because that looks. I think I see. Oh, you know what I could probably do? No more guessing. Let me pull out the microscope here. Okay, those look gone. That kind of looks like the fiberglass. I don't know. All right, Thomas Armstrong found the part number for the Bourne's pack. I am actually fairly sure that's the fiberglass. Oh yeah, because now I see the broken edge on that one. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure those. Oh, yeah, Thomas says that needs some wire. All right, so that one's. Yep, those are gone. The ones above it, I think. That has at least enough there. Oh, I don't know that that's there. Oh, Thomas says the part he sent me is just a guide. Okay. Let's see. Of these ones, there's that capacitor. That one's still there. That one, there's a little nub there. This one, I don't know. And then this one up here. All right, looks like that's still there, but I think that's fiberglass. Jesse says, I think C22. Oh, Jesse thinks that the pad's still there on C22. Oh, I think you were deceived by my light. I think you saw the reflection of my light in the flux. Yeah. There you go. Because I just now cleaned the flux off of it and the isopropyl alcohol, and that looks like fiberglass substrate. I think you were deceived by the one light. The one light to fool us all. And with that, I think it's probably about time to face the bear. Or, the end of the stream, at least. See, my dinosaur's even deflated right now. Alright, so... David Starbucks says it's dead Jim. Yeah. So anyways, alright. So, Wheel of Regrets. Had some interesting regrets. Box full of cable. Hard to be regret there. Lots of value. I'm trying to clean some flux off this board. Because I'm probably just going to take it upstairs and rinse it in the kitchen sink, because there's more cleaning to do to it. Yep. So, yep, we got the, let's see here, box of cables. Excellent. The Emerson computer, at least the motherboard hard drive work. I think I might have a path to getting at least one Emerson 8800 EC up and running. Possibly two. If I, because now I'll have to inspect the power supply that came with that one to see what it's like. Jesse says C22 is Payless. Yep. Thomas says T-Rex looks underfed. Yeah. I had to unplug him to use the ultrasonic cleaner. Oh, padless. Yes. Let's see here. The LTE 286, it's going to need a recap, that's for sure. But it powered up and I have a screen. So, yay there. I'm trying to think, what else was there? Yeah, I guess that was... Okay, and then we tested the Emerson 8800 EC. We did not... Actually, is that the only thing we tested? Oh, and the LTE 286. So, that's right. So, let's see here. Monday, I think it will be time for us to take a look at what's in this box right here. This did not come from eBay. In fact, it came from Alcorcon. I don't know how to read that. It came from Spain. It is from Spain. Thomas Armstrong says Poland. Yeah, I need an 8087 for a lot of things. No, this came from Spain. Not Poland. Thomas says, oh, I know. Yes. So I don't know what is coming from Poland. maybe Thomas will illuminate the thing from Poland he thought I might have bought so that I know. But I think Thomas now knows what this is, because maybe there's two of them. Oh, Thomas says they are the same guy. Oh, okay. Well, he sent this one out of Spain, so... Anyways, Thomas knows what this is. We're going to look at this on Monday. It does relate to a regret. And I'm hoping this will fix the regret part of the regret. So, that will be Monday. And then, we'll see if I can get some ultrasonic cleaning done this weekend. Then Thursday we may get back to a Macintosh. Possibly the Macintosh IIsi. I'd kind of like to get it back together. It's acting like a trip hazard right now. Although the one of the two SIs may also be on the list. By that point, I'll probably have decided whether I'm going to treat this as a parts board or a repair candidate, because my other logic board is in better physical shape in terms of the pads. But it's also possible that I might try to power this up with only the bulk capacitors on it and see what it does. Because it probably would power up enough to at least see if we get a video image. I know that's asking a lot of no extra capacitance, but I've seen Mac logic boards power up with no capacitors on them. Probably not going to be a stable experience, but it would maybe be at least enough to know if we get a video image or not. Because if we get a video image on this and not the other one, then there's still things we can do. First of all, we can compare the boards and see if there's anything missing on the other one. We can check continuity on the other one. We could also potentially swap one of the ASICs. Like, this is the ASIC that if I thought one was bad on my other 2SI board, it would be this one. Because I can tell you this, the solder on this board, over in this area of the board here, the solder pads look a lot better than my other board. So I don't know if that's because the capacitors that were on this board leaked differently, or maybe if this S2SI was stored in a different orientation. Like, it's possible the first one I bought was stored this way, allowing the electrolyte from capacitors to, or maybe stored this way to let the electrolyte fall down. Maybe this one was stored more flat, so maybe the electrolyte just kind of pooled around the capacitors themselves. Oh, Thomas says Exos makes a great Atari PSU old school linear. The package that I bought did not come from Exos. It came from a web store that has a kind of funny name. So, anyways, yeah. So I think Monday we'll look at the Atari, and then Thursday, hopefully I'll get the ultrasonic cleaning this weekend that I need to do, and we'll get back to maybe the Mac SE, because it may just simply need to be put back together at that point. Hopefully the citric acid ultrasonic cleaning will take care of the rust, and then the normal ultrasonic cleaning will take care of everything else, and then we'll just put it back together. And then if it's as simple as that, then Thomas says, Exos, you need to leave an arm for shipping. And then maybe if we could get the SE back together quickly, we can look at a 2SI. So, anyways, Ugh. Yeah, I'm getting tired now. Anyways, I'm glad you all joined me for tonight. Glad we could enjoy some regrets and even see that some work and some will require work. So with that, I am going to face the bear and then face the bed because I do have to work tomorrow. So anyways, yes, it is time for me to roll that famous logo animation. And with that, I'm going to thank you all for joining me in the chat, being cool, moral support, finding things. Thanks to Hardware Hacker for contributions towards a workbench with hopefully some spare lumber to build a shorter side table for my ultrasonic cleaner. And with that, I'm going to wish you all a great rest of your day. Take care, and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.